Parceritos y parceritas, welcome to another episode of Classic Diez Podcast. Today with me is my friend Dirga. We're going to talk a little bit about Brisbane Roar and also about Manchester City. How you going, Dirga?
I'm very good. How are you, Juan?
Pretty good, pretty excited to see your collection, talk about the shirts that you have, because I know you physically. You're the first guest that I actually met before like the podcast, and I know you have an amazing collection of shirts that I really wanna like dig a little bit and know more about them. If you
Yeah,
want,
I'm probably gonna be humble a little bit. I don't really have that big of a collections, I don't know if I don't know if people are gonna consider it big or huge. But yeah, I'm happy with my collections.
that's the most important, to be honest.
Yes, yes, yeah.
Having the pieces that you want and just
Yeah.
like fulfill this like
Yes,
feeling of
yes,
having them, you know.
yes.
Let's start from the beginning.
Yeah.
Tell me a little bit about you.
So my name is Dirga. I'm 37. I was born in Jakarta, Indonesia.
Yeah.
About when I was 12, there was a bit of a thing happening in my country, and I went. My parents sent me to school in Singapore for safety reasons. And then when I finished my school in Singapore, I have some family in Brisbane. So my parents then sent me to follow some of my families in Brisbane, and I ended up in Brisbane for a bit. That's how I come to support Brisbane Roar, because I've spent about 10 years there. And then because of my work, they asked me to move to Melbourne, and I've been living in Melbourne since about 2011 now. So about
Awesome.
12 years in
Yeah,
Melbourne.
a lot of time.
Yeah.
Dirk and I, we live in the same city, and we used to play in the same futsal team, and we also
Yes.
been like involved in the soccer community as well in different
Juan
bits.
is very,
So
very good, by the way. Juan is very, very good.
I just got injured, so I just like not enough now. Well, tell me a little bit about your job. What do you do for life?
Yeah, I work for a company better known for the cameras, Fujifilm, if you've heard about it.
Yeah,
But
of
I'm in
course.
the medical. I'm in the medical side of things. So we do medical IT. We sell kind of like a medical imaging software to hospitals,
Mhm.
and then I'm involved in like setting it up, and so that's why I deal with a lot of hospitals and doctors basically, but in the IT side.
Okay, and like your collection is pure hobby.
That's correct. Yes, pure hobby, nothing to do with my work.
Yeah, it's very common, to be honest. Like pretty much everyone that I've been talking, even if they sell a little bit of jerseys, it's not like the life like income, you know. It's just like pure hobby, have it,
Yes.
take it, sell it, etc.
Yeah.
Um, well, and tell me about your like childhood. Do you have any little idol?
I when I was a kid, actually really loved Del Piero. Del Piero was my
Oh,
childhood hero. It started only because like a lot of us, we started playing like on the school playgrounds on the streets, right? And then one of the persons said, "Hey, your name's Dirga. Sounds like Del Piero. Start with D." And then I started watching Who's Del Piero, and I started looking at it, and even I started looking into Juventus at the time, and even I told my mom like, this the Del Piero person is very good, and my mom's response was like, oh, he's very, very handsome. I'm sure my dad wasn't very happy about that, but
and also you tell me that you have like this very involved love for Brisbane Roar, but I know that you have a very big love for Manchester City. So do you want me to tell me like
yeah,
why these two loves came?
I got into Brisbane Roar first, basically. I love football. I love soccer from when I was a kid, like playing, but I didn't really have like follow any teams basically because life got in the way and you don't really watch matches. But I follow like the scores and but one thing is that when I was a kid, I somehow really hated Manchester United. Just I don't know why. I think it's just because when I was a kid, everyone talks about Manchester United, like everything's about Manchester United. All the fake jerseys that's being on sale, like there was Beckham, Cantona. So everyone's talking about Manchester United. I was like, yeah, what's like I don't know what's the big deal is, but yeah, I grew up hating Manchester United. And then I got into Brisbane Roar. When I lived in Brisbane, my wife and kids were actually going back home to Jakarta for holiday. And I was like, okay, what do I do this weekend? Like, I don't have anything to do. Like, that was kind of like my first time like being back single again after, having a family. So I had to look at what's happening in the city, like if there's anything I can do. And Brisbane Roar was playing Sydney FC that weekend. And I was like, okay, back then the name's still Queensland Roar. So I said, okay, maybe I'll have a look. So I thought, I bought a ticket, went and watched it. Feels a bit boring, like the A-League quality. I was like, oh yeah, it's A-League quality. But then again, there's a lot of passionate people being involved there. Like I see the active support group, the Dan, like cheering very hard, and I got to know a few people there, and it just becomes, even though at the beginning I had this like reservation, I felt like, oh, Brisbane, it's an A-League, like it's not, the quality is not good, and then you just got dragged into it because of the passionate people and the players. I feel like the best thing about A-League is that the players are not out of reach to you. Like you can actually, after the match, they will actually come to you and like speak to you, have a chat with you, take selfies, photograph, signatures. And it's not something that you see often in like European football. Like, you don't see like players like interacting with fans. They feel like a family. So that's how I really get into Brisbane Roar, because the club really felt like family to me. And so once I've got into Brisbane Roar, I thought, hey, maybe I should start following Premier League again. And that was back in 2012, and I still hated Manchester United. And Manchester City beat Manchester United 6-1. I was like, what's this team? Like, there's another Manchester team. Like, I haven't heard of them before. So I started looking into them, and then when I was like watching the last game, that Aguero moment, the one Manchester
championship.
City won. Yeah. And I was watching that, and that last moment I was watching it, and I was crying. I don't. Back then I haven't even like take Manchester City as my team, but when Aguero scored that goal, I was crying like. Like it wasn't controllable. Like, what the hell? Like, why am I crying? And like, oh yeah, this is the team,
It's also these years of Manchester City, they were like for ages waiting for this championship, and they arrived to the last fixture with the same chances of win with Manchester United as well.
That's correct.
And in the last second, like before Aguero scored that goal, Manchester United was the champion. So
that's correct. Yes,
epic,
that was
epic moment.
It was very epic. I don't think we'll, like the commentator said, you'll never see something like this ever again. Yeah,
and it's totally true. It never happened again. Something done strong. What do you think about the A-League for this year? Do you have any favorite?
I of course, obviously, I still support Brisbane Roar, but I think Melbourne City is gonna win this. They're just too good. Melbourne City is just too good. I mentioned before, like, how we speak, how you can speak to the players in the A-League. And one of the players that I get to speak a lot at Brisbane was Jamie McLaren. He was at Brisbane. He was a really nice guy. He will take time and chat with you. He wished me happy birthday. He remembers me, and he remembers me, and said happy birthday. That was like, So Jamie McLaren. I've been following his, the moment after he left Brisbane, I followed his career in Scotland, followed his career in second division Germany as well, and when he came back from Melbourne City, and I can still see, even though he came back to A-League, his quality is just out there. He's really good, and was really good to see him back in. Was really good to see him in the World Cup as well in Qatar.
Yeah, and I think it's like the top player right now in the A-League.
That's correct. Yes,
many people talk about Nani, but
Yes.
you can see the years of Nani in the legs clearly. Jamie
Mm.
McLaren is still on fire. And what about the Premier League? Do you want to talk about what happened last night?
I had faith in Manchester City, but after last night, I think it's clear. Arsenal is probably going to win this. Manchester City, I'm happy if we can sit second, and anything above Manchester United, I will consider a win. And I'm hoping that Manchester City will win the Champions League, and that's going to be, everything's forgiven if they win the Champions League.
Yeah. Well, look at what happened last night. It was the derby between Manchester City and Manchester United. Manchester City was winning and controlling the game pretty normally, and United just scored 2 goals very quickly and done. Manchester United won.
There was controversy about the first goal because people think that Rashford should have been offside, but somehow the referee let it play on and Bruno Fernandes scored.
Yeah, and that gave them a lot of life.
Yes.
Well, yeah, and that was my next question. My next question as well, like about the Champions League. You think like Manchester City is the favorite?
I am hoping, fingers crossed, Manchester City is going to win it.
Look, to be honest, I think you deserve it because
Thank you.
You pass the line of being a rich team to be a serious team. Now it's not about money. Now it's about the project that you have behind.
That's correct.
The big comparison between PSG and Manchester City for me clearly is PSG by players, Manchester City by team members. It's clear how they see someone, either if it's expensive or not, but it's like, I need this guy because I know this is the extra piece that I have to have, left winger, right winger, defender, it doesn't matter. It's just like pieces, but PSG is just like buying players for buying.
I mean, people talk about, Manchester City overspending on Jack Grealish, but he plays a role in that team. He's holding up the ball. He draws fouls, and and in the good moments he scores and he creates chances. So
and it's like it's as well a need you have. For example, it was part of the plan of Raheem Sterling. Sterling was not in the best moment for Manchester City.
You can't have a team of 11 Erling Haaland. You need Foden, you need Grealish, you need Kevin De Bruyne, you need Mahrez, you need Gundogan.
It's just crazy. It's just crazy how many players you have. And it's, for example, just Julian Alvarez. Julian Alvarez is like a clear way how you spend your money. Like you put 20 million for him, being the best player in Argentina for the last 2 or 3 years. And now he's 3 away as a fucking star, and he's like 80 millions. So who wants the 60? It was a very big bid from Manchester City, and that's the kind of movements that PSG might need to follow. Prepare first the project, then start to move the money to different players that they actually consider that they're gonna work.
That's a very good analysis. Yes,
I consider Manchester City is gonna be one of the favorites for sure in the Champions League. Just the team, how many players in a high quality has, it's incredible, and I think like no one else has it. So congratulations for the Champions League.
Well, I'm probably gonna jinx it now. We're gonna jinx it.
We can remember this video and see like we saw it. We saw it before. Well, now talking more about your collection, which is the main part of the podcast. Do you have like a raffle number of how many jerseys you have?
So I've never really considered it. Like, I thought I had a lot, and then I was like counting it last night. The numbers come about to 150 plus. Some are in the wash.
That's a big number. That's when you start to say like, I need to organize this, because it's like so many arriving, and you're like, why?
I'm thinking, my wife is complaining a lot to me about where are we going to put this, because now my closet is full of my clothes and I have more clothes than her. But I consider myself, with the collections that I have, I'm more of a bargain hunter. I love collecting jerseys for the right, like if I manage to get like cheap and it's a good jersey that I've been looking for, that's my goal. I don't go after the big items, like, maybe sometimes, like if it's my birthday or something, I say, hey, can I have that for my birthday? Then yes, but most of the time the jerseys that I'm after is about $20 to $50, which is,
Yeah, that's very
uh,
decent, to be honest.
yeah, yeah,
Because in the market, it's crazy prices about
that's correct. Yes.
some items that you can say like, okay, it's a holy
Mhm.
grail, but still 200, 300. I seen items of like $1,000, which is
Yes.
ridiculous. But people, it's different type of collectors as well. I know people that they want that exactly piece right now, and they don't care about how much they have to pay.
Mhm.
Another ones just wait and wait and
Yep.
wait, and they appear. It's
Yep.
a market.
Yep.
Do you have a favorite between the retros and the moderns?
I definitely feel retro is better. I
Yeah,
like retro kits. I like over the top. I like, like fancy, like, a lot of patterns and,
like the Mizuno
um,
that you have.
that's correct. This is an Adia Omiya from Japan in 2001. Managed to score it from PFC Vintage.
Yeah,
Just bought it in the rack, and you don't come across like a lot of J League jerseys often. So and especially a classic one. And I was like, oh, that's a good price too. So yeah, this
you
is one
took
of my
it.
favorite ones. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
I do feel like modern kids these days, a lot of they're going for a, like, simple. I know that a lot of there are simple retros as well, but a lot of the modern trying to replicate a clean retro feels a bit too plain for me.
Yeah,
Like, yeah, feels like I need something more. Like a lot of people, um, right? A lot of people like the Venetia kit, like the
yeah,
the
yeah,
one that
yeah.
I'm talking about, Venetia kit
Mhm.
from last couple
Kappa.
of years. Yeah. Um, for me, I don't know. A lot of people said they look really good, but I feel like, no, I need more. I need more content. I need more, not just black with lines.
It's a that club. It's I call it like a hipster club. It's a club that like doesn't have a story like big story. They just reached the Syria, but they are now again in CDB because they don't have enough like quality in the team. But
Yeah.
they just like make a very nice shirts that the people
Yeah.
like it and everyone wants to buy it. I know collectors that they were trying to have the four kits that Kappa realized for them last season, trying to
Hmm.
buy the four of them to have it like the entire set.
Yeah.
But it's just because it's a cool, trendy kits, But yeah, for me, I don't have any of Venetia
Hmm.
because even if I have one, it has to mean something. Like it has to
That's
be like I don't know, like something that you say like, oh yeah, this is a cool shirt, it's a cool shirt, but also it's a good story to tell.
yes. Yes.
Um, so yeah, that's a good example that you give me. And
That's a really
Venetia.
good point. But like the story, yeah, I feel like a lot of people are also collecting. They just said, okay, it's popular, it's good, and everyone's buying it. But what's the connection to you? What's why do you have that kit? And
Yeah,
yeah, yeah, the story is important as well for some collectors. Yes.
yeah. And do you have any preferences about the kits with name sets or doesn't matter?
I feel like name sets are important for if the jersey itself has a really good pattern, then you don't need a name set.
Yeah,
But if jersey is plain, I think having a name set there, and especially of a player that like mean something, is going to make that kit a lot better.
yeah, true. Do you know which is the team that has more shirts in your collection?
I never had, like family life and everything. I never thought, okay, maybe spending money on jerseys feels a bit luxurious to me. And when I was starting dating my girlfriend back then, now my wife, she gave me a jersey. She gave me a Japan 2006 jersey,
Yeah, the
and
World
that's kind of
Cup.
yes, that's kind of opened up the Pandora box to me. Like, oh yeah, I started, like jerseys are cool, and I started, like buying them again and again. But that also somehow triggered my love for Japan's jersey. So I do have a lot of Brisbane Roar jersey. I have a lot of Manchester City jersey. I have a lot of Socceroos jersey. but I have a lot. Also, I also have a lot of Japan's jersey. Like I just love collecting Japan's jersey because that was the start of my that was the start of my collections.
And the Japanese jerseys are
Yes, I do have
unbelievable
all of them.
designs. Like the
Yeah, this is the 2006 one.
yeah.
So this is the one that my girlfriend bought me, and I got Shinji Ono to sign it when Brisbane Roar versus Western Sydney Wanderers in the grand final. I managed to get
Yeah.
him to sign it to me. Yeah, so this is also my favorite kit because my girlfriend back then bought it for me. So this is the start of everything. Yeah,
Do you have? Oh, well, you tell me that this is your favorite share,
yeah, yeah.
so we can skip
But
that
in
question.
terms because of this, because I think that's because of the story. But I think if I have to pick my favorite of all in terms of pattern is this one.
Oh yeah,
Uh, Japan's
98.
1998.
It's
98.
crazy. Another World Cup.
Yes, I love this jersey so much. Yes.
98 is one of the best years, I think, in terms of jerseys in a World Cup, because
Yep.
Brazil has a beautiful kit, France has a beautiful kit, Colombia also has a beautiful kit, and like pretty much all the countries has like a very nice templates and very like retro vibes thing.
Mhm.
And what is the last shirt that you bought?
The last shirt that I bought is this one, and I think everyone will recognize it. Argentina, the
Still,
world champion.
still with 2 stars.
Still with 2 stars, yes. I got a tip off on Twitter that one of the shopping mall, High Point, has it. So on lunch break, I went to the shop, and this was the last one.
Oh,
The
so
last one, yes.
lucky.
I'm so happy, and I got a friend who's going to help me put the name set, the Messi name set, and also the print of the match details on the center, the Lusail against France.
Who's gonna
And
help
yeah,
you?
this friend, my friend on Twitter, his name is Adrian, and
Okay.
he's the one who's been helping me a lot with like printing. He can source like the official
Oh,
insets and get it printed. So yes, yeah,
and
that's
he's
going to be
based
my
here
next.
in Australia.
He's based in Sydney. Yes.
Awesome.
He does it as a hobby. It's not like it's not his business, but he's helping friends get name sets printed on jerseys. Yeah.
Awesome. Awesome.
Yeah.
I need to talk to him.
Yes. You've heard about the prices of this Argentina kit that's been going crazy.
Yeah. And even like in it start to be this item in store. Start to be this item in stock X, which is crazy because they have then just things in soccer and soccer wives. They just keep that stuff as a like items that they're gonna grow so much the price, because clearly it is a collectible piece. So that one that you have there in the future
That's
will
correct,
be like
yes.
crazy.
Because I heard the one with the well, they haven't released the 3-star yet. So the 2-star with Messi name set was selling for about $1,000. That was crazy.
Yeah. The 3 stars start to be now like in a pre-sale in South America. They already launched one like bunch in South America, in Mexico, but no one knows when it's gonna be like the international full worldwide stuff. So yeah, April sounds like the more
I heard April,
time.
but then I heard April, but then again the demand might cause it to delay it. We don't know, but yeah.
Yeah, exactly. It's everyone want that kit anyway, so
everyone want that. Yes.
It's gonna be crazy. Do you have any kit that you will never buy?
I would never buy a Manchester United kit, obviously, for obvious reasons. But I did have one. I had one because of a prank, and one my friends pranked and bought it for me. It did come to a good use. One of my friend who's a Manchester United supporter bought me, she got a spare tickets to the game in Melbourne, Manchester United versus Crystal Palace when it was in Melbourne. So she said she wanted to give, she has no one to go with. So she asked me if I want to come with her to the game. And she doesn't want money for it. So I thought, okay, maybe I can do something nice with the jersey. Again, that same guy, Adrian, he's a Manchester United fan. And he was waiting at the hotels for the players, for the Manchester United players. So I asked him, like, can you do me a favor? And if you see anyone, can you get them to sign the jersey? And said, yeah, sure. So I left the jersey with him, and he came back with the jersey signed by Bruno Fernandes and De Gea.
Oh,
Yes.
two big
So
ones.
yes, the two of the big ones. So I, when we get to the game, I surprised her like, like a signed Manchester United jersey for you.
That's awesome.
So yeah. So it was started as a prank, but it has a nice ending.
That's very cool because also that show how like the football make these kind of situations
That's
very
correct. Yes. Even though
very nice. You are very unexpected, like you are not going to the match, but you go to the match for free, but you also give it to her a nice kit signed by two of the main players of Manchester United. That's crazy. That's crazy. And what is the jersey that you like were trying to find for a really long time, but you cannot like find it yet?
Yes, I don't know if this is fair or not, because the one I'm looking for is never for sale. It's and we've been demanding like, Socceroos, please sell your goalkeeper kits.
Yeah, it's difficult.
Yes, because the Socceroos, the Australian national team, they always sell like the jerseys, the home and away, but never the goalkeeper. And the one that I really wanted the most, I'm a sucker for purple kits. I love the color purple since I was a kid. And there's a purple Socceroos keeper kit from a few years back, I think from the World Cup qualifier that Matty Ryan wore. And that's just something that I really wanted. That's like my goal. But you will never find it because it's never for sale. So you have to find a player's kit. I do know someone on Twitter. Yeah, I do know someone that managed to get it from Matty Ryan. So he has it in his possession, and I really need to, set up a heist to steal it.
Just try to negotiate the cheapest that you can make it. It's difficult. The player is too as well, because it's like a shared one that is very expensive and to very low quantity.
That's correct.
So if you cannot find like the fan version, it's very hard to find it unless you're very lucky and you finally give someone that is like, okay, just take it, I don't care this one. What is the most expensive shirt that you have in your collection?
As I mentioned before, I'm a bargain collector, so I haven't really, go after like the big price jerseys. I think I've never even like bought like jerseys on a full price. But the most expensive shirt becomes I once bought a full price shirt from Manchester City shop. The Manchester City goalkeeper kit with Edison on the back. And that cost me, I think, $170.
Okay.
And
with shipping, with everything.
Yes, with shipping and everything,
awesome.
$170.
So how much was the Argentina?
Argentina was 140.
Okay.
But once I send it off to him and then get the name set printed, so it will come down to $200. So I think once that's done, that's going to be my most expensive shirt.
100%. But that's a very nice kit. Very nice kit. To be honest.
It's gonna stay in possession for a while.
Yeah, true. And now, which is the cheapest that you have in your collection?
The cheapest, I would say, this one. I found this on eBay. This is Persija, which is the football club from Jakarta, where I was born. And I managed to haggle it on eBay for about $15.
Wow, nothing.
And $15. And in Australia, for some reason, this jersey ended up in Australia. I found it, and they're selling it for, I think, $30, and haggle it down to 15. And it's a special edition from a couple of years ago, and it features the map of Jakarta. And I was born about there, just about here. That's where I was born. So it's very, very cool. And as you mentioned, it has a bit of story as well. This is where I was born.
That's beautiful. And the pattern is beautiful. $15. What the fuck?
$15, yes.
So cheap. Congratulations. It's a nice kit. It's a very nice kit. And also meaningful for you. So why
It is,
not, you
yes.
know?
It's always the win that, like, oh yeah, I got a cheap jersey that, it's like you really wanted. So yeah.
That's awesome. And what is the best kit that someone like give it to you, Eva?
That Japan 98 kit was a birthday present for my sister-in-law. So yeah, I'm gonna
Wow,
say
man.
that was my
That's
I
crazy. That's
yeah,
awesome.
even though it's a bit of cheating because she didn't know what to give me for my birthday. I said, dude, what do you want for your birthday? Well, sorry, no, she didn't ask me, but I put it up on Facebook. There, I said, I want this for my birthday, and she said, yep, done, bought it for you.
Crazy. That's a very nice gift. It's very
Yes.
hard to find shirt. So yeah, it's keeping more in the heart,
Yeah.
you know. And do you have any shirt that you sell or give to somebody and you say like, oh, I kind of regret about like this?
No, I'm a bit of a hoarder. I haven't sold any kits that I bought since the first time. I did give away jerseys to friends, or if I feel like, this is a nice gift for you, I will give it away. But I haven't regretted like giving it away because for example, I had a Chelsea jersey. Like it was just I bought it like $30 I think for sale. It was like in the factory outlet, and I thought, yeah, that's a cheap jersey. I'll just get it for like random. And I managed to get Damien Duff, one of the players. Yeah,
Yeah,
one of the
yeah.
Chelsea players. But he at the time was playing for Melbourne City, so I managed to get the Chelsea kit signed. And then I know straight away, like, oh yeah, I know a guy who's gonna love this, and I gave it away to him. So yeah, well, like it's no regret. It's just like it's a nice present, nice thing to do for someone else.
Yeah, true, absolutely.
Yeah.
I'm fan of Real Madrid, just in case you have anything to give me.
I do have a Madrid kit, but nothing, nothing special, not signed by anyone.
Dirga, and do you have any regret about one share that you don't buy or you were thinking, but you like just...
Yeah, so this is back when Manchester City were doing a lot of charity thing with Melbourne City, and they have this match, like a charity auction with Manchester City match worn kit. And for some reason, yeah, they do have Manchester City kits in Melbourne City's auction. And they have this. I think I remember there was like Foden, and there was like Gundogan, and I can't remember. There was, I think, Carl Walker as well. And they have this match worn kits being auctioned for charity. And I forgot. I I forgot about it. Like I said I'm gonna put a bid on it, and they were selling for about $120 or something, like a match worn
Wow.
kit. Like, and I forgot. Like I was like, didn't like it was supposed to end like around right about now, and then I checked, and they're all gone. Yeah, that's like my biggest regret. Like match worn kits for under $150.
That's impossible nowadays. Match
No
worn
way. No.
sign kits are easily
Mm.
$1,000. So
Yes. And I mean, match worn kits, that just doesn't come often at all. Like, and how do coming from Manchester City, that would guarantee like the authenticity.
yeah, of course
And
they
I,
have that.
I think that's the hardest thing. Like, you go to eBay and they say match worn kit. How do you prove that?
True.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah. So,
hopefully come back soon and you can, find a way to buy it cheaper. Fingers crossed.
fingers crossed. Fingers crossed.
Okay, and do you want to tell me which was the best anecdote that you have with a soccer kit?
Oh, there's this story. I had a Leeds kit. I bought this Leeds kit on a bargain.
Oh, awesome, Macron. Yeah.
Yeah. And what happened is that Melbourne City used to have this player, Ross McCormack, who used to play
Yeah.
for Leeds. And I just randomly thought, okay, I want to get his signature on the jersey for fun, like get it signed. And I was walking out, and it was just outside of the stadium. Players just started coming out, And there was this Melbourne City player as well. His name is Bart Schenkenfeld. He came out together with Ross McCormack. So they came out together. I put out the jersey in front of them, and instead of Ross, Bart came over.
And he signed it.
Bart came over to me, and Ross walked away. Ross McCormack walked away to his car, and I was like, "What's happening? What's happening?" And then he took my pen, and Bart basically signed the jersey, and I was like, and he's asking me like, "Why do you ask me to sign this jersey, like Leeds jersey? I never played for Leeds, right?" And then, no, this was meant for Ross, who you were walking before, and he realized his mistake. And he said, hang on a second. And he took my jersey and the pen, and he ran screaming, Ross. He ran screaming to the car park. And he ran to his car, got it signed, and gave it back to me. I said, sorry, I did not realize that. But
so random.
The jersey got signed by two players, Ross McCormack and Bart. But it was just so funny because he did realize, like, why are you asking me to sign the jersey? Like, it wasn't for you, it was for the other guy.
It was totally bizarre. Yeah.
But he was a really nice guy. I mean, he didn't have to, but he actually ran to the car park to get it signed.
That's very funny. Very, very funny. And like, yeah, I think that's the other thing. So many times the players are just thinking, very disconnect, not thinking.
Yes.
It's so many, like so many people crowding and just screaming of them, and just they do like naturally. So
I think
funny.
there was a viral video as well. There was a guy who had the the United States jersey during a Chelsea. During a Chelsea pre-season tour, and someone signed it instead of Pulisic.
And what you can do with that kid, that's it. You know, just tell the story about it.
Tell the story.
Not much to do.
You just end up with like a good story.
So funny. Well, Dirga, we arrived to the like surprise sections of the podcast, which is the first one is both of them are super easy. The first one is just like, I'm gonna give you some names, and the first thing that comes to your mind, just say it.
Okay.
If it's like, just prefer that it's just one word, but if it's one expression, it's okay.
Okay.
So the first one of all, it's Pep Guardiola.
Good coach. Amazing.
Yeah. Yaya Toure.
Stole my pen. Yaya Toure stole my pen. He was in Melbourne. I got him to sign my jersey, and then he took my pen and he signed everyone else's, and then he walked away with my pen. He stole my pen.
Where's my pen, Yaya Toure?
Yaya Toure, where's my pen?
Wilfred Bony.
Good for Swansea, but just didn't show for City, unfortunately.
Balotelli.
Amazing player. I love him. A character.
So funny because look at, I've been asking this question for like, he moves for like a lot of like teams. So I've been asking two different collectors that were involved with the team, and all of them say the same. Excellent player. Like excellent player, lost the mind, but the best player. He's
just out there. I just love his character. He's amazing. And I don't have a Balotelli City kit. I have a Balotelli. My mom went to France, and she got me a Nice jersey with Balotelli on the back. It was like so good.
What about this one, Maguire?
Big head. The first thing that comes to mind is like his big head. Maguire is I don't know. He's a very divisive like player. Like for some reason, some people think he's good. I just can't say it. And how he getting called up, for England. I think for England he sometimes sometimes he plays well, but I just don't think he works for Manchester United.
Okay. And the last one, Matthew Ryan.
Love him, love him, love him, love him. He's a very, very, he's the captain of Socceroos, and out just off the pitch, he's a very, very nice person as well. He's always, after a Socceroos game, if even if everyone has walked away, like they finish the game and they walk through the tunnel, Matthew Ryan is the one person that you always see spending time with fans. He would go around signing jerseys, signing autographs, take selfies. He's just a nice person.
Awesome. And now we're right to the last session of the podcast, and it's just I'm gonna give you like some hypothetical stuff, and then you will choose which one, this one or the other one. So the first one is two big players from Brisbane Roar. They just like left the club to another clubs, but which one of them do you reckon it was best for Brisbane Roar at the time? McLaren or Berisha? Both got championships in the A-League, and both were like super good players.
Oh,
If you have to choose to come back to Brisbane Roar in the best peak time of the skills and everything, which one of both will do? Doesn't count that McLaren say happy birthday to you.
It definitely counts. It counts towards his personality because he's a really, really nice guy. I would still choose McLaren, I think, just because of his, as you mentioned, both of them are very, very good players. They score goals. McLaren is a true striker. He's, a lot of his goals are, tap-ins. But for tap-in goals, you have to be where the ball is going. He can smell that. He knows where he has to be to score that goals. It's what we call striker's instinct, and he just has that. On the other hand, Berisha is more like he's like the passionate. He's like, I will win this ball and I will put it in the back of the net. And that was, so it's two different kind of strikers. One is that where, one where, he can smell the goals, and one where he's going to chase the goal till death. And you're making my laugh hard here.
And this is going to YouTube. I'm gonna send it to Jimmy McLaren and Berisha.
So both being the legends of the club, I'll pick McLaren because he's nicer off the pitch.
Jamie. Another one, big one as well, strikers as well, but different team. Yes. Would you keep, if you have the chance to take the best Agüero ever and the best Haaland ever, which we don't know if it's yet.
When? Yes.
Right? Which one would you keep and which one do you sell?
I would say this is an easy one because, as you mentioned, Haaland hasn't, we probably haven't seen the top of Haaland yet. Therefore, he hasn't proven himself. I believe that Agüero has more than proven himself. So it's easily Agüero for me.
Legend. He's a legend.
He's a legend. Legend of the club, legend of the game.
Haaland can be, he scored a lot of them. Could you imagine if this season he scored another, the double amount that he has? He's going to be like the top scorer ever. But
ever, he could be.
He has to continue proving that.
He hasn't.
Do you prefer to win the Champions League, but if you win the next season you got relegated, or don't win it, continually trying, being like the semi-finals, finals, etc., but continuously winning the Premier League all the time?
Champions League is the thing that Manchester City, has been chasing. I think we need that win. We really need that win. I think once, if we win that once, and then the next season get relegated. Hey, Manchester City has been relegated before. It's not like something that hasn't happened before. Very unlikely scenario because if but yeah, we need that win. I would choose Champions League win. It's the holy grail for me.
Yeah, could be like Qatar saying like, okay, we won the Champions League, so we want to sell the club and all the players.
That's it. That's done.
Would you prefer that the Socceroos qualify to semi-finals of the World Cup, with chances of like big chances, big game, or seeing Indonesia in the World Cup?
Easy one for me. My country is Australia for me. So definitely Socceroos.
Okay.
Yeah, Indonesia doesn't. Indonesia doesn't appeal much to me because of we had that issue in Indonesia when I was 12. So I'm Australian in my heart.
Okay. Okay. Fair. Another one. Which do you think was the best captain of Manchester City in the last couple of years? Yaya Toure or Kevin De Bruyne? Or Company, because Company as well was many years and very good.
I will choose Company because Company is the Company was a really good captain. I don't know about De Bruyne being a captain. De Bruyne is a good player, but I don't know if he's that good in like being in a captain role.
Which is difficult in a team like that. It's very difficult.
It is. I mean, every City plays football where it seems like everyone has their own mind, and being a captain, like leading all those intelligent like minds, it's a hard position to be in. I feel like even between De Bruyne and Yaya, I probably think Yaya will do it better than De Bruyne.
And Yaya has way more experience in high pressure teams as
That's
Barcelona,
correct.
For example.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
He was in the best years of Barcelona, and even if he was not like the best player or the player that called more attention, he was very important for the team. And in City as well, he proved that character, and he scored many beautiful goals as well, which Kevin De Bruyne does every weekend. Yeah. But yeah.
But Yaya still stole my pen.
Where's my pen, Jaja? Where's my pen? Let's say that I don't know how, but like Manchester City disappear, right? Mm-hmm. And you don't have any problems with Manchester United. You were just like, okay, another team. Would you prefer be fan of Manchester United, or would you prefer go for another team in the Premier League?
It's a hard thing to imagine not hating Manchester United, because that's kind of like where I shape my personality around that. Well, I will definitely choose another one. I will definitely choose another team.
Which Premier one League. Would you choose in Premier League?
Given that if I've never been a Manchester City fan.
Exactly.
I used to be an underdog. I used to support underdogs, like anyone that plays against Manchester United or anyone that's underdog. Used to support Leeds because of the Australian connection, Harry Kewell and Viduka.
Yeah.
So I might do that again, Leeds.
Okay. And next question: could you prefer Harry Kewell or Mark Viduka?
Tough one. Ooh. Harry Kewell is a hard character to like. Is because how he had spent his time in Liverpool, and then he went to the Turkish club, and then even though the Liverpool and Turkey has that relationship, I think it was Galatasaray and Liverpool. Yeah, Galatasaray and Liverpool. So yeah, they had that relationship, and Harry still chose to move to Galatasaray, which is like making a lot of people unhappy. And then he moved to Melbourne Victory. Didn't do well in Melbourne Victory, and then he moved to Melbourne Heart, which is kind of like killing all his fan bases that he
was just cutting the fanatics.
He moved from one club to the other, and then he didn't end up doing well in both teams. So in Melbourne Heart and both in Melbourne Victory. So he didn't gain any fans appearing for those teams. But Harry Kewell in his prime was a phenomenal player. And yeah, it's just his team selections is just I guess strange, but So between those two, I would say Harry Kewell.
Okay.
Still, just because. Yeah.
I have to confess you something and confess everyone in the world.
Yeah.
I was very, very like obsessed with Harry Kewell. I don't know why,
Yes.
because Harry Kewell was like not connection for me of him,
Yeah.
like he was playing in Leeds and Liverpool, but I
Yeah.
was living in Colombia and I was never planned to come here and live in Australia. But it was his character in the pitch plus this like super crazy vibes about the haircut, the tattoo super ugly that he has, like all that style that give me so much vibes. And yeah, I just always try to be like having his haircuts and like follow him when he was doing this and that. And I was like very, very keen of him as a player.
I mean,
amazing player.
Because as I mentioned before, even though his team selections is questionable, he still was an amazing player during his prime. Yeah. Love him. Juan, I got one for you.
Yeah, sure.
Losing a derby or losing 3-0 to a lower end team. Like what happened last night? City lost to United and Liverpool lost 3-0 to Brighton. Which one hurts more?
I think like as Real Madrid, I would prefer to lose with whatever team 3-0 than lose 2-1 against Barcelona.
That's losing a derby just hurts so much. Like there are just some games that you just can't lose.
I was when I was very passionate, super passionate about Real Madrid, it was the worst time of Real Madrid because Pep Guardiola focused really good. So hard. So I was in these matches of like 5-0, Piqué doing this in the Bernabeu, at the 6-2 as well, Messi scoring goals like fucking crazy. And yeah, that was like so hard, so painful. And it was like just not like, okay, we lose this game, next one we're gonna win. Like it was just impossible because how the team was like Real Madrid and how was Barcelona, it was just like not one step, it was thousands of steps to recover. So yeah, I think like losing with Getafe or losing with Valladolid, not saying that these teams are less than the other ones, but I mean a teams that it has like way different budget than Real Madrid. Either like in Champions League, for example, losing 3-0 with Shakhtar Donetsk, it's still less painful than losing the Copa del Rey against Barcelona 2-1.
That's correct.
Just the colors.
It is. Yeah, derby just brings something else.
Exactly. Well, Dirga, thank you very much for coming by. Was a pleasure.
I enjoyed my time.
It was a pleasure to have you here in the podcast. Amazing collection, amazing jerseys, the ones that you have. It's as well very nice to have you like in my friends' contacts as well, because you are very involved in the soccer community here in Australia, which is absolutely nice because it's not the main sport, but we're trying to push it, we're trying to push it up and make this grow. So let's remind everyone that is watching this video on YouTube about how they can find you, they can follow you, ask you questions, etc.
You can follow me on Twitter, Instagram, Diekarasu, Diekarasu. And I'm mostly running my pages, Raw Fans in Melbourne and A-League Beams.
Awesome. Yeah, you create a very good content. I've been seeing that. Very cool. Everyone on YouTube, thank you very much for coming and watch this video. Give a like, give a subscribe. Please follow Dirga. If you're in Australia, this is one of the guys that you must follow. Thank you very much and have a nice day, year, month, etc. Bye.
Thanks for having me. Bye.